Hello friends of the electrified charging fun and welcome to the July episode of Škoda EV News, the 6th episode this year so far with everything what's happening in the Škoda electric world. So we've got something about the models and the model policy Škoda has, the known issues and problems you are telling me from the community, and a lot of things which are currently of interest for the community of the ENYAQ and ELROQ drivers. And since we've got a lot of topics to cover, there are the chapters down there, so you can find the topic you are most interested in. And now, let's go. The My Škoda app is a topic which is talked about a lot, and especially about the problems. There are a lot of good functions in this app, yet there are still problems, and when they solve one, some new problem will arise, pretty sure. Today I want to talk about two problems. There are a lot of more, of course, I can't tackle them all. They removed the driving score. I already mentioned and explained it in one of my other EV News videos, that they take the data points from the car and then telling you how they think you are driving. While this is a nice idea, they removed it. And I guess they removed it because of my video when I was talking about speeding. Because most of you had a bad speeding record. Why? Because the car can only judge your speeding based on the road sign recognition, the speed it thinks which is allowed, and the speed you drive. And if you drive perfectly fine according to the law on the road, and the road telling you how fast you drive, yet the car thinks you drive too fast, well, the speeding score is bad. And I think that's the reason why they removed it. I asked them about why and will it come back, and they tell me, yes, they will do a complete rework, it will be back in the future. But the other thing is way more important, and that is the non-working remote parking. I showed remote parking several times on the channel, and it always worked for me, therefore I cannot showcase it to you. Yet I have a lot of mails and comments telling me from day one when they received their new car, where they paid for remote parking, it didn't work. Dealers don't know what to do or telling them wait for an update. This is a situation you should never be in. A new car should simply work, and there is no excuse for that, dear Škoda. You cannot deliver cars where remote parking isn't working. You can't blame the customer for that. This is something which should work from day one. No excuses here. A lot of people are not able to connect their phone with remote parking. You have to do it separate. You saw that in my how-to videos, that you have to scan a QR code, a special one, and then gets connected. And a lot of people can't do that. And even people with the same phone I have can't do that, so it's not phone related. This is not an experience a customer should make with a new expensive car. Therefore, I talked to Škoda, I told them this needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed soon. And therefore I can only recommend to you, if this is a problem you have, tell your dealer, tell the country organization of Škoda in the country you live in, and just push it, push it, push it, that Škoda finally brings a solution for that. The statistic values from since charging are not working properly is something I get told very often in the last couple of weeks. We first saw that problem with the ELROQ, then with the facelift of the ENYAQ. You have those three values: since start of the journey, since charging, and long term. And while you can manually set since start and long term to 0, you can't do that with since charging. This should reset itself with every charging process, yet it doesn't. And more often the problem is with AC charging than with DC charging, but the values just keep staying there. This is a bit annoying to some drivers, as they like to know what they did with one charge when it comes to those data of average speed and consumption and stuff like that. And Škoda knows this problem. They are working on a fix which needs to be done in the software, and let's hope that they will update the software rather soon. This problem has the potential to become an evergreen. I'm talking about the not opening charging flap. And I do not mean the problem that it is software related, where it simply just not unlocks and you can solve it with your fob, just pressing close the car, open the car again. I mean a mechanical defect of the motor and the pin which opens and closes this lid. And this is an issue I had on the channel a while ago, and now it's rising again. I get a lot of emails regarding this, more often from ENYAQs of the first generation than of the second generation or the ELROQ. And this problem seems to be that this motor, that the case of the motor is not waterproof. I have here 2 images, and I have way more of them, which shows that they are completely rusted from the inside. And when we talk about that motor, we should know that this is not exclusively designed for EVs. They used that for several years in their combustion engine cars. Yet there is a big difference between fueling up a car and charging up a car. Fueling up normally happens under a roof at a petrol station for a couple of minutes, and there is no exposure to water, or at least just less exposure, whilst charging could happen for 30 minutes or a couple of hours in the rain. And you should acknowledge this fact as a manufacturer and make a mechanism which also is waterproof. This doesn't look waterproof if I see that amount of rust. Therefore, there is already a revision B of this part. Yet I don't know if this is a better version with no problems. The revision A definitely has that problem. And if you want to fix that, well, the first problem you have, you cannot open the lid. No way! You have to use force, so you break something. And don't misunderstand the emergency release in the back of your boot. This is for the charging cable. If you pull that, you can emergency release the charging cable. This is not for the lid. Well, the part you need there can be exchanged at the dealer. They will repair it, but it is not on guarantee. I have a lot of emails telling me that the people had to pay for it. But I think you shouldn't pay for something which is not correctly designed. And the price is around 120 to 200 euros to fix it, at least according to what I was given as information. The part itself, well, it's only 20 euros. And there are 2 parts available. One with an emergency release cable and one without it. And you can buy it online. And I would really hope that Škoda will step in and repair them without making you pay, because I can't understand how a part like this after 2, 3 or 4 years in an ENYAQ is already rusted and broken. The ENYAQ is only charging with 7.4 kilowatts instead of 11 kilowatts. When it comes to AC charging is a problem which gets mentioned quite often in recent times, or just to put it more precise, it's not charging 3 phases, just 2 phases, despite the fact that 3 phases are available. This is the most known problem with the first generation ENYAQ with software version 3, and it came into place with software version 3.7, respective 3.8. And it seems to be software related. And Škoda has a fix for this. This is not available for software version 4 or 5. This is just for software version 3. And there was a post on this on the Škoda EV launch on Facebook, and I don't want to stress that out again, that I do not find it very handy to post about solutions in a closed Facebook group if you have hundreds of thousands of customers. But let me show you what they posted. And what is important here is they tell you you need to bring a proof that the problem is based on your ENYAQ. And now you could rage about that, but in a certain way I understand them. If you could see my mailbox, you would see a lot of emails regarding AC charging at wall boxes and problems. And very often the problem is not the car, the problem might be the cable, or in most cases it is the wall box. There are so many wall boxes available, and more often some settings in the wall box. Therefore I can at least a bit understand them, that they want to have a proof. How to do the proof? Well, I would do a small video with my smartphone showing that my wall box is capable of delivering 11 kilowatts, and then filming in the car how only 7.4 kilowatts are available. Or simply call your dealer, ask if they want that proof or if they want to update you, and discuss it with them. And then the problem should be solved, because you don't have to charge with lower charging speed than necessary. Problems with the update of the first generation ENYAQ to software version 3.8.1. Well, obviously there is not only one problem. A lot of people are still waiting for the update to 3.7, yet those with 3.7 are a lot of people there who are waiting for the update to 3.8.1, which comes over the air. And now it seems that there's a software bug in this update. Therefore, I have to explain a little bit, so be patient with me. First off, there is an e-call system, an SOS call system in your ENYAQ. You know it from the roof, where you can also press the button for SOS. And this one has a backup battery, which is also rechargeable, which is under the rear seat. This is in case that you have an accident on a 12-volt battery and the electric system fails, so that this e-call can still send an emergency call out. And with the update to 3.8 or 3.8.1 to be more precise, it seems there is a problem with the state of health. State of health, not state of charge. And this problem is already known with the ID models of Volkswagen, because they get that update as well. And I had a viewer from Germany who has an ENYAQ of the first generation and ID models in the family. And after the problem occurs with an ID, he checked it with his ENYAQ before the update and after the update, because he was asked to install this over-the-air update. And the result you will see right here, because this is the reason why it made it into the news. And as you can see, with software 3.7, this battery, this backup battery, has a state of health of 79%, and it states battery OK. The SOC, so the state of charge of this battery at that moment, is 94%. Then he hit update my car, and after the car was on 3.8, he checked again, and see here the SOH, so the state of health, dropped to 53%. So he lost 26% just overnight. Not state of charge, state of health, because the state of charge is still 92%. So what's going on here? Well, first you could assume the state of health was not correct before the update and they corrected it now. Or there's a software bug, which is way more reasonable, in the software update, which simply lowers the state of health. And now it also states battery critical. He did not get the warning message in the cockpit display, which you get when the battery is critical, but this is at 50% state of health. And then you see e-call system, SOS emergency system failed, please visit your local dealer or workshop. Keep in mind, this battery is not only built in the ENYAQ, it's in a lot of models from Volkswagen and Škoda. For example, in the e-Golf, in the Tiguan, the Passat. And no problems are known from them, and they are way longer on the road than the ENYAQ. So, therefore, the assumption that it is a software bug. And let's look at this model of this viewer, because this is an ENYAQ which is for 4 years now on the road. And in the first 4 years, this car lost roughly 20% SOH with this battery. So you can say, just with a rule of thumb, 5% every year. So the battery should last roughly 10 years. And this is what this battery is normal. And this is the normal lifespan of this battery, because this battery is a replacement part, yes, that's true, and it should be replaced, yes, around after 10 years, but not after 4. And this battery is around 80 to 90 euros. Then you have the work of your dealership to exchange it, to remove the rear seat, but this shouldn't be so expensive, right? Well, there you guessed wrong. Since some IDs already have that problem, we have some values here, and dealerships asked before this problem with the update was known around 300 to 500 euros to exchange the battery. But it goes even further and is even more. But it is even worse. Some dealers also wanted to replace the control unit 75, and they asked for prices for the repair over 1,000 euros. Control unit 75? Well, the update 3.7 to 3.8 updates two control units. 5F, which is the iCar 3, or basically the central control unit for your infotainment, and Control Unit 75, which is telematics and the emergency module. You can do that update, it comes over the air, but if this error message comes to your display, don't get fooled by your dealer. Instead, I would directly ask Škoda. Tell them that you did the update, that everything was fine before the update, and now you've got that problem, and they should take care of it. You should not pay for this, because no ENYAQ on the road is old enough to already have problems with this backup battery. On my own behalf, this time just one single topic. And what was really impressive, even on the real small English channel here compared to the German channel, a lot of new subscribers and viewers came to the channel with how-to videos. They attracted a lot of new audience, and I'm grateful, thankful and happy about that. And this new audience, I thought, and that was also one reason why I did the series, because this series will age well. You can look at over and over again, and even new audience will come over the time. Well, I thought it will be an increase in ad revenue, yet it isn't. I don't know why. I tried to find it out, yet since the starting of the year, ad revenue stays very level, on the same level. And the revenue per 1,000 views, well, it's always the same, yet I have way more views. I can only speculate that a lot of you will use ad blockers. Maybe you have YouTube Premium. I don't judge you about that. I do not want to talk about whether I like or dislike ad blockers or whatsoever. This is not the topic of this video. But I'm heavily reliant on the advertising on YouTube, because what you never saw on my videos until now is advertising in the video, baked in, burned in advertising for whatever products on the market. I get offers of around a dozen a week to build them into the videos, yet I do not want to do that. They are very lucrative. They pay a lot of money for this, yet I think it's not worth to have them in my content, and you wouldn't like them as well. Therefore, I try to keep them out of my videos. But how do I make money, as this is my full-time job, both channels? Don't get me wrong, this is not enough money, and I was willingly to put money in 2025 to ramp this up, yet there is no ramp up in revenue. And I can't have a part-time job beside this. An 80% job with another employer is simply not possible to make all this content in 2 languages, on 2 channels, with 2 communities, with all the emails. Don't get me wrong, I receive over 100 emails each week, and I try to answer them. And this is so much work. Therefore, I'm trying to make a business model out of it. And there are a lot of options in this model. Ads are one, but the way more important thing right now is your support. And therefore, I would like to ask you, since I'm not offering the membership on my channel, and I do not want to offer the super thanks any longer, simply because YouTube is taking 1/3 of it for its own, and I don't want that your support is going to a big American company. So, what would work for you? Would it be Patreon? Would it be buy me a coffee? Would it be another solution which you would opt in for to support me? Or do you say, hey, well, Matthias, you already have PayPal and you already have a bank transfer, that's enough. I know one of the problems with all of these sites is that you can only bring them up in one language, so I always have to do a German and an English part. Please excuse for that. This is because I have 2 channels. But yes, write me in the comments what would work for you. Would you become a Patreon of this channel or use Buy Me a Coffee or whatever? Write it down in the comments. There's the thing that I think if you get something of worth, you might want to do something in return. It can be a small amount, because you don't have to pay for this here, right? This is all for free. Another thing came to my mind which I could do, and I want to discuss this with you. There is an opportunity to come up with a shop. And now you think, well, not another shop of an influencer. I don't want your t-shirts. Well, you're right. This is not the idea of that shop. There might be some merchandising, quality merchandising made in the European Union if possible. Maybe even t-shirts with some prints on it which are not electrified Speicher, but which are as cool as that you want to wear them every day. But this is not the purpose of the shop. It is to bring accessories to you specifically for your Škoda ELROQ and ENYAQ, which are currently not available or not available in a quality or design you like. this is the idea. Maybe even together with Škoda, so it's a perfectly fit for your car. And I want to discuss with you whether you would be interested in something like that. What products are you missing? What do you want to have in a shop when quality and price are good? Write me in the comments. And would you buy those products? This is of interest for me because this could be a huge benefit for all of us. You get the products you don't find on the market right now in a quality that is good for a price that is affordable. And I have another piece of my business model in place. Let's discuss this down in the comments. And then again, I want to thank you all for your financial support for my videos if you think they are helpful and worth of paying something for them, because you keep that channel running. And then I hope we see each other in the next video. And until then, stay full of energy.